Fantastic. Thank you as always, Cameron.
Good.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I'm joined by the technically minded, always resourceful, rebuilding things from scratch, Cameron.
Hey.
And our wonderful guest, Cat.
Hi. Hi there. How's everyone?
We're doing very well, thank you. Look like I've got a couple of people in the chat so far. But before we get into too much detail, Cameron's going to transition us to a song of the week.
Ta-da. And hopefully it works flawlessly.
I hopped in a brain down at summer camp with the door stuck to the head. Welcome to the mind of a dentist. Do I need a fill-in? Jumped on some teeth, make a mouth open wide. Look to my right and I want to run and hide. This guy is crazy and I thought nothing else could faze me. The teeth zippers got my stomach feeling so sick. It's only the first level and I'm so nervous. That's when the sensors start being dangerous. And we saw blast to the gone. And we saw blast to the gone. And we saw blast to the gone.
All right. I know it, but I can't think of what it... Have you unmuted? All right, cool. It's over.
All right. So that's the song, Cameron. Are you on mute still?
Can you hear
I
me?
think so.
Yeah, you still on mute, buddy. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay, how do I unmute myself? The stream can hear
Zoom,
me.
mate. Go into Zoom and hit the unmute button.
See, the problem with that is I don't have Zoom up in this window.
Okay, I don't know why I try. All right. Anyway.
But the stream can hear me because that feeds directly from my mic. So
perfect. Okay, cool. So that's fine then. So Cameron, do you know what the song is?
I know. It's tip of the tongue. I can't think of. I've definitely heard it like multiple times, but I can't think of what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Magic Cast has got it right. It is a Miley Cyrus song. Kat, do you happen to know what the song is?
Oh, you
idea.
You were humming this the other day. Now I feel like
I was humming this the other day.
Is it Dancing in the USA?
It's part of the USA, but yes, I'll give you a point for that one. Yes. Yep, congratulations. Yep, Part in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
I'll be honest, I hate Miley Cyrus.
Me too.
Hannah Montana's much better.
Yeah, exactly, totally different. Yeah.
But,
all right, well, let's get into the housekeeping. Well done, Cameron. I'm somewhat impressed, although you definitely had some help from the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I narrowed it down heaps for me. Thank you.
Well, it's a relatively recent song, right? I was trying to get something, on this side of the 2000s.
8 years? 9 years?
Yeah, 2009, I think, or something.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever.
Time flies, right?
I know, I'm feeling real old.
Oh.
All right. Anyway, housekeeping. Discord. We've got a Discord. Well, we're part of the GPN Discord where you can come hang out and chat. If you don't know what Discord is, it's basically a big chat room with various channels with different topics. So we've got our own section for the podcast, place for questions, place for our competitions, for our patrons. But there's also other stuff that's more general. A lot of shit posting. I'll admit it's a lot of some real great memes going on. There's a place you can put pictures of your pets. I want to see more pets in there. I like seeing people's cute cats because I'm allergic and I can't own one myself. But yeah, Discord.
That's unfortunate.
It's real sad because I used to have 2 cats as a kid and I didn't realize I was allergic until once. Like I got the allergy test back and my dad's like, you're not allergic. And so he put the cat up to my face and then I nearly died. And he's like, oh, I guess you are allergic.
I used to be allergic, but I sort of got immune.
You wean yourself up. See, I've considered doing that, but it's an argument of what kind of pet we would have in the house. But yes, discord.io/GPNGG is the place to come hang out with us. Cameron's there, Kat's there, I'm there. A lot of the other GPN guys are there as well. It's basically the best place to keep up to date with what's going on with the podcast, along with all the other stuff that we do. Cameron's also been hard at work on the Twitch for those of you guys who are watching live, and you should be. Cameron, what have you done? What have you done for us this week?
So I've added in some commands. Basically, I had to move. The moving destroyed my Wi-Fi card and my PC. So, for the last week, I temporarily had a LAN cable running across the house. To which I was told from Nikita, Percy's going to trip on that. You need to remove that immediately. And I'm like, well, you've probably got a point there. So I had to do a full reset, and that destroyed everything that I currently made.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Good. So you did a lot of reworking.
So everything basically looks the same, if not very similar, except achievement commands aren't working. And
Well,
yeah, I'm just gonna be like I tried for about 2-3 hours today to fix it. I don't know why it won't work.
all right. Well, hey, you gave it your best shot. It's fine. We don't get enough people subscribing to us to notice anyway. So,
saying that, I can do do commands like that one.
oh, okay. Hey, cool. That's nice. All right. So hog, song, context. All right. Sweet.
Yeah, and if you want to start any end, we can. But
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely spam the hell out of those. Cameron's also set up a Ko-fi, K-O-F-I, for us if you want to support us. So, you can support us through subscribing on Twitch. But if you want to give us that one-time donation, we really appreciate it. But I understand that, not everyone wants to be on a reoccurring basis. So you can donate to us directly through Ko-fi, and we will use that money exclusively for Doritos and Mountain Dew. Just because, we got an image to maintain.
nobody's done it yet, so I have to stick to Diet Lemonade. But
Yeah, see, that's...
once they do...
No, absolutely. We need... I want green to flow through my veins. We've also got our Patreon, which is the GPN Hall of Gamers Patreon, where we have our monthly competition, along with other content. So we just recently did a new episode of our other podcast, our exclusive Patreon podcast, Lights, Camera, and Action. Still the best name that I stole. Where the idea is we watch a video game movie and then rip it to shreds. So we just put out an episode, I think it was yesterday or the day before, for Need for Speed, which I'll tell you right now, wasn't as bad as we were expecting. It was actually
sorry. What's this Wii business?
Okay, all right, fine. You thought it was going to be good, and I thought it was going to be absolute tosh. I think it met somewhere in the middle. It was actually a relatively okay movie. But you'll have to listen. You have to give us some money and to listen to the whole thing. But I think it was one of the better episodes we did. We're also looking at potentially moving it to video, kind of like how we do with this. Cameron just loves making these, these little overlays.
Just to give people a sneak peek too.
Oh, yep.
Obviously, it doesn't have our video yet because I'm still working on that. But
sure,
have some stuff like that.
Oh yeah, so yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because Cameron just loves making more work for me.
What do you mean? Everything, it's like, I have a plan. We're doing this. I need you for like a 5-minute script.
Yeah, but I've still got to edit the damn thing. Anyway.
Oh, it's fine. It's more content.
But yeah, so you can see it on there. We've also got our monthly competition. Cameron, do you want to explain that?
Sorry, which one?
The Patreon.
Oh, Patreon, yeah. Okay, so the Patreon competition is basically, does the community like you or does the community hate you? And when we talk about the community, it's user collectively making a choice. So me and Matt go, all right, free games, newer releases, these look cool. We give you an opportunity to vote in the community to what the prize will be for the month. And then the person that actually gets drawn at the end of the month will win the prize that's picked by the community. If you already own that prize because you've picked it up like last week because you've been, on its radar for like the last month, then we'll just give you a Game Pass Ultimate for a month, or we'll organize another prize for you.
Yeah, we'll work it out for you. We keep it pretty fast and loose on the show, so just let us know what your situation is, and we'll figure it out.
It's all in the spirit of the community, though, picking the game.
Absolutely, yeah. So we want you guys to pick which one of those you want to either have someone enjoy or inflict on someone, depending on the quality of the game. Because again, these are new releases, and we haven't played them, so we'll see.
I mean, like some of them were played.
Oh, true. I mean, yeah, okay, we do play them occasionally. But by the time the Patreon competition's drawn, you also had another competition, the co-op competition that you're gonna draw.
So the co-op competition, I've been very busy, like unpacking after the move. I forgot to draw it 2 days ago, like I was meant to. So I drew it today, and I handed out the prize to Derpy McSquirtle on Twitter.
Derpy McSquirtle. All right, congratulations, mate.
So he's got 4 codes for Xbox One's Assassin's Creed Unity, which he's distributed amongst his friends.
Fantastic. Good. Yeah, so we're hoping to do more competitions like that every now and then. Obviously, we'll have the Patreon draw each month, and we'll have the word challenge each month. But the Cameron likes to spice things up a little bit and keep things interesting. So once we have codes to give out and things we want to do, we'll let you know.
Yeah, 100%.
We've also got the word challenge, as I just mentioned. So last month, Cobra Todd ruined everything by guessing Katamari, beautiful Katamari, while we were recording, which I think is just absolutely unfair. We still gave him his $20, but the idea is that I pick a game each month, and every week I give you a clue. The clues start off, generally relatively unhelpful and get slightly more obvious as time goes on until like the last week where I basically just give it away. So it's a new month, so we've got a new game. Obviously, I won't tell you what the game is, but the clue this month, and I'm going to be very strict because Cameron always gets in my case if I overdo the clue. The clue is that this game has an alliterative title. And if you don't know what alliterative means...
It means she sells seashells by the seashore. Or some shit.
Yeah, sure. Ask Charmander in chat. She's a linguistics major. She'll help you figure it out.
Oh god, this is going to become a whole English essay, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, that's all. But anyway, that's probably not going to be super helpful. But if you do happen to guess it, you win yourself $20. All right. Well, with that out of the way, let's get into talking to our guest here, Cat. Want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, sure. Hi everyone again. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm Cat, which is a short for Catarina. I'm Portuguese gamer. I am 27 years old. I love Xbox, and I've been always trying to, since 2015, I've always tried to improve things in Portugal for Xbox, and basically fighting for the voices here in Portugal. And I would say that video games and art are the two things that always accompany me.
Yep.
That's a good mix.
Yeah. They're very
Cameron?
close together.
Yep.
You had some questions there, Cameron?
Yeah. So, I guess from that, I'm trying to think how to phrase the questions I've asked. I'm horrible at interviewing people. let's just cut the charade for 2 seconds here. So I met Kat pretty much at the start of GP, and I've been looking to get her on for quite a while because she is a very active voice in the Xbox Community Hub. I believe you started the Xbox Community Hub. Am I correct, or was it?
Yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, basically, as I said, I've been trying to work things out here in Portugal because there's a lot of lack of support for a lot of things. There's basically no stock. There's really a lack of events and support, and it's like people we try to talk and nobody's listening. But very recently, I would say 2019, 2020, I started realizing that it was not just a problem in Portugal. I started seeing people from Croatia, Poland, Australia, people from all over the world complaining about the exact same things or similar things. And I thought, why not try to join these voices and make sure Xbox starts listening to us? So that's why I came up with the Xbox Community Hub. So I initially thought about inviting a few key community members from that I would know from these places like South Korea, Croatia, Germany, and those eventually, or most of them eventually, became the regional leaders. So we started with a Discord group, and we have selected regional leaders that are more active and participated in the discussion. So basically, that was the whole idea of it, was to join the voices and to make them sound a little bit louder.
Yeah. And I guess with that, what's your main goal to achieve out of it?
My main goal.
If you could get one thing changed tomorrow, just one thing, what would you go for?
To make sure the Xbox team works closely with community key members, community leaders from around the world. Yeah, make sure they connect and they talk and they sort things out.
Yeah, sounds good. Because I've seen a lot of the work, I guess, behind the scenes, and I'm being very interested in the project myself. But I guess the listeners and all that, they don't get to see what's going on behind closed doors yet.
Yes.
Behind closed doors? Well, there's nothing behind closed doors. I'm always open with I'm always discussing openly with the regional leaders. So
I know. I'm just saying I need to hurry up with graphics.
More than the rest.
I'm just saying I need to hurry up with my graphics. I'm just too slow.
Yeah, I would also recommend following Kat on Twitter. She's one of the few GPN people I haven't muted. I'm kidding. Wow. Maybe I'm kidding.
I was like, now I feel attacked.
Oh, that's right. You're on there too.
Just going back to that too, though. Even just an example that I saw in the last, what was it? Yesterday they announced that Far Cry custom console, and that's only limited to what, US, Canada, like
UK, France, and Germany. I think. Yeah.
which is honestly just a massive bummer. For the rest of us.
There's quite a few regions missing off that list.
Yeah, yours included.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, like obviously, we're in terms of Australia and New Zealand, like, we're relatively close on the so what's the way of saying this? It doesn't sound like I'm a weird xenophobe. Like we're like Western adjacent, I suppose, in terms of like English speaking. Yeah, you'd expect us to be in a lot of those similar markets, but even with us being missed out, it's really weird to think that just Xbox seems to have a weird blind spot outside of the US and the UK, basically.
Well, even going back to Hall of Fame, just thinking about how many regions was it? 8?
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9, I think.
8 categories between like 8 or 9 regions or countries. And I think DACH, what's that region? That was like 4 different spots put together.
Yeah, there was a whole and it was very strange how they said it, and then also that like Kat was talking about with the community aspect, right? Like trying to get a hold of people who can actually get in touch with people at Microsoft or to make changes and stuff like that. It's just like, good luck. Yeah, it's like getting your voice heard is really, really difficult.
Yeah, it is.
And this is not saying, we're not saying this negatively at all. We only speak about this because we're advocates. We want to see change. We want to see improvements because obviously me and Matt, we love achievement hunting. That's our main addiction with the console.
Oh mate, if I didn't have achievements, I'd own like 3 houses by now. Are you kidding me? I would have been so productive with work and that sort of stuff. I would be super buff.
CEO by now.
I've got so much to blame Xbox for. So much.
Are you done with Halo, Cameron?
Oh.
oh God.
Halo MCC ends, and I've got so much Halo Wars 2 to talk about this week.
Oh yeah, we definitely should talk about that.
I'll wait till Steven shows up though, because that's just gonna. He's not happy.
It's really gonna.
You started it with Matt, and I'm like, I didn't start it. I'm helping Matt so I can learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
exactly.
I'm passing skills off to you.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with whatever reason you need, mate.
Yeah.
So, Kat, let's talk a bit about you as a gamer. What kind of games do you play?
Well, I don't think I can define myself as a kind of games, maybe franchises, but I always like to try different things. I think that the franchise that most defines me is definitely Halo. That Halo is why I came to Xbox. So, but, there are other IPs that I eventually got to know and sort of like Far Cry, Gears of War. But it really depends on what's coming out. But lately, I've been playing Aliens Fireteam Elite.
Oh.
This month, I'm excited for Bus Simulator 21.
We can't have a European on without them talking about some fucking simulator game. They just love them.
I don't know. It's not something that I expected to like. Back in 2018, we got a code for Bus Simulator thanks to ID Xbox, and I liked the game. And I thought, well, I would like if the game had a better version. And Bus Simulator 21 looks great. I don't know. For me, it's really a relaxing game.
So it's not like a Madden situation where they just update the bus drivers but keep everything else the same and try to sell you it for $70, right? Like it's a whole brand new game, right?
No idea. Yeah, I think it's a brand new game, and it looks better. It looks good. Yeah.
A double decker bus is like microtransactions, or like how does that work? I'm very curious because I've never played outside of Goat Simulator. I don't tend to play a lot of the simulation genre.
No, there are no microtransactions or anything.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good then.
Just tell you the game.
Matt only sticks with what he can relate to.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly. Being a massive goat. Yeah, greatest of all time, buddy. All right, so okay.
I was going to say quickly with that too. I want to quickly touch base on Xbox PT Dummies.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Is it PT Dummies?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
But what was your question?
tell us a little bit about it. Because I talked about the community hub, but
Xbox PT Dummies was started as a Facebook group that I created in 2015, which was precisely, well, first it was to create a community that was open to every sort of people, because in a way there was a toxic environment. The environment here in Portugal was very sexist as well, and as a girl then I just didn't feel well, you know. So I kind of created a group, and I just said to people, okay, this is how things will work here. If you like it, you're welcome. If you don't like it, you have plenty of other places to go. But I wanted to create a safe environment for people, really. Nobody judges you, you know, that's just not right, not to me. And eventually it became a website, and that mission to try to raise the voices of Portugal, of the Xbox Portuguese gamers. And yeah, today that's what it is. Xbox PT Dummies.
Nice. It's interesting. Just you saying that, like, how closely that relates to my own story of Xbox, because the only reason I got into Xbox was the Xbox One owners group for Australia, because we didn't really have anything to go to. So then there was that group that was made, which all the achievement hunters stemmed off into the Xbox achievement community, which is the one that I run on Facebook that has like 400 members, which then stemmed into me meeting Alex, Professor Pluto, and forming part of RGS.
That's all. It all starts from that. I mean, that's the thing, right? If you don't have a voice, if you don't have somewhere where you can go, I mean, like, sometimes the best thing to do is just to be that voice and to create that zone for people to talk about this stuff. I mean, that's what achievement hunting is all about. That's what you know, and having like regional stuff is so great, because it can be hard, especially, you know, when you don't have a lot of people around you, or you don't know a lot of people around you who play games like you do, who are also, you know, not massive dickbags or, you know, hugely sexist. You know, it's like the problem is that because there, you know, actually, you know, I'm not going to get myself cancelled this week, so I'm not even going to continue that train of thought, because it will get me in trouble. But sometimes you get a certain type of people who come to video games, and they're not the most
warranted.
They're not the most socially well adjusted, we'll say. We had a question in the chat from Simone, who asked, what does PT Dummies mean / stand for? So where did the name come from?
PT is very simple. PT is for Portugal. Dummies. That's just like an inside joke or something, because there was a time when a friend of mine and I created a really private group. It had like 5 people on Facebook or something, and we called ourselves Test Dummies.
Okay.
So kind of instead of Test Dummies, it became Xbox PT Dummies. So
right.
Makes sense.
It's like it's also a way to say we don't take ourselves very seriously, though we are serious with our mission. We still strive to be always positive, to be always joking, and always have a good humor.
Oh, that's fantastic. Cameron, do you have any more questions?
No, I think that was pretty much it in terms of that.
I have one question about your gaming history and stuff. So how long have you been gaming for? Do you have any other consoles? Like you talked about Halo and the Xbox side of stuff, but do you have anything else in the backlog?
Well, I only got to Xbox in the 360 era around 2010. So I'm not like an original Xbox player. I used to play Halo on PC. On PC, I would also play The Sims, for example. I think the only console that I had besides Xboxes was Nintendo Advance, Game Boy Advance. I would play just Super Mario Bros, nothing else.
I guess that leads to a good question. In terms of Xbox against Nintendo and Sony, what's the market in Portugal? Like, is it Xbox is way down in terms of getting stuff in stores, or is it? I know it's the case for Xbox, but is it the same for Nintendo? Because we know.
No, Nintendo is much better than Xbox
Mm.
Okay,
here.
interesting.
Yeah, I've been to get to a few gaming events, and PlayStation like has almost half of a building. Like
Yeah.
it's a gaming event that has like 4 buildings. PlayStation has half of one. Nintendo has like a third of one, and Xbox is like this little thing there that
Little
nobody
corner
sees.
lemonade stands.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
even Nintendo has better marketing, has nothing to do with it, and I think both teams from Nintendo and Sony here in Portugal do a great job. Unfortunately, we don't even have an Xbox team, so
Right. So that says everything, right? Just yeah, it's
yeah,
Magic Cats points out in chat that PlayStation's presence across much of the EU is huge. Yeah, absolutely. That's
yeah, it is.
they really do dominate. And the Xbox has a decent foot on the UK though. Yeah, that's kind of where they've put their focus. But obviously they've obviously let it slip from
It was
the rest of Europe.
Way up there in terms of the 360 generation, I believe, and then Xbox One happened, and
I mean, to be fair, the Xbox One was pretty rough for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When it was the Xbox 360, I believe things were not that bad here.
Yeah.
There were some events, there was competitions and everything. And honestly, I can't blame Xbox for not investing in the rest of the world when Xbox One happened, because things were so bad back then that investing in the rest of the world just didn't make any sense. But I do hope they start investing now. They have a solid ground right now with Xbox Game Pass, with series, with games, with studios. So now they just gotta work with the rest.
the only negative aspect I can really think of in the last few years is just them trying to increase the price of gold. Everything else basically being win to win.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, there's still. We'll see how Infinite turns out. But you know, it's.
You're gonna dish on Infinite when we've got a Halo fan here.
I mean, look, I love Halo too. I love Halo. I've played just about every single one of them except for Master Chief Collection because I haven't got time for that. But it's
only 7 years of your life.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So it's my backlog of 200 games, started games, and another 100 of unstarted games can wait, I guess. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Xbox definitely haven't been going from strength to strength recently, especially with how well Game Pass has been going for them. The consoles, they're still being outsold like 4-1, but you know that was always going to happen.
Which is I mean, it is and it isn't, but it's surprising to me in the regard of how Xbox cops so much flack for smart delivery being a marketing buzzword, and it's like.
I mean,
it works. Yeah.
It works, but it doesn't move units. That's the thing. Is that like the thing that moves units are video games, right? It's all about attach rates, and until Microsoft have a good enough first party lineup of exclusives, which they're spending big bucks to do so, they're not going to see that big pushback. Besides, the PS4 was huge. The PS4 was relative to how successful the 360 was back in the day. But,
I don't think that's the only problem. As long as we don't have proper globalization, the numbers won't change.
No,
because the rest of the world doesn't know about Xbox.
Exactly. Yeah, and even if they do, they don't get supported, and half the time they can't find them in stores. So it's like, like what's the incentive to buy an Xbox if you don't have the support you need? You can't even put your currency on there to buy the fucking games. It's just like, well, sure.
Some people might be interested on Xbox, but they're just afraid of investing in it for plenty of reasons.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense.
And the social element as well. If all your buddies are in one, like this used to be such a more prevalent problem, like back in the day before crossplay was a thing. But if all your buddies owned a PlayStation, then
yeah, but the trick there is just to not have buddies, just to be an absolute social outcast and just never talk to anyone. And you can pick whatever console you like. That's what I did.
Disconnect from your friends because they don't want 100 achievements. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, Cosmic.
Yeah.
my mates in the chat because they all jumped ship and jumped to PC after the Xbox One came out, which I don't blame them, but
yeah, is what it is.
I was lucky. I basically had no friends.
Yeah,
so
great.
I just made new ones.
That's what you do. That's like. Well,
yeah. The problem with that though is then you spend your Friday nights doing a interview-based podcast with the number one in Oceanic, and then he doesn't let up on how much of a massive ego he has.
Oh, come on, mate. I mean, look, I've already got Alison in the chat calling me out saying that apparently I'm all talk and that I'm on Discord chat all hours of the day, which is true. But I work from home, so I need to have something to keep me company so I don't go nuts. I mean, Alison is also working from home.
You cover the memes on the Discord. I cover the memes on the Twitter.
Exactly.
And Facebook today. My sister passed her L's and I had to I just make something up really quickly.
Quality meme lord. I really should change your title. All right.
That's essentially what a community manager is.
Yeah, just meme and complaint officer. Yeah, pretty much.
100%.
Yeah, I think Cameron's title should be, if you ask me for graphics, they will be late.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Wow.
I see, the problem with trying to make something and being a perfectionist is your own worst critic. It just comes back to just like...
I'm a perfectionist as well, so no worries.
And then somebody will say one little comment just like, can you change the color? It's like, all right, we're going to try 20 different colors on 50 different fonts until we get the right one.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Why do you think I took basically a month going through the survey?
Yeah.
I mean...
That's the real reason Cameron's computer was broken, because we had a little bit of feedback on his latest overlay and he just threw it across the room and started screaming at us in some like Australian dialect that I just couldn't understand. All right.
Wait, did I...
What have you done? What have you done? Okay, for our our audio listeners and the people watching on YouTube and such, Cameron has also added a command that is exclamation mark Aussie, and he's got Nightbot to say oi oi oi, which is just fucking fantastic. I really appreciate that you put time into that. That's the kind of absolutely useless shit that I really appreciate. But we should probably get into the news because we've been running for half an hour already and we've barely started. So, Cameron, what have you found for us this week?
All right. So, do we want to start with the big bulky one first, or do we want to go on the little stories?
Let's go with the little ones first and move up to the bulky one. Otherwise, we'll never get around to the little stuff.
All right, cool. We'll knock out the Resident Evil one straight away then, which is one of yours ones.
Yeah, there's not much to say. They're basically they've released some shots from the new Resident Evil reboot that they're doing. It's like 3 or 4 images, nothing too exciting, but it looks, it's like, oh hey, cool. They've got a Claire and a was it Claire and Leon? I think it is.
Yeah, Claire, Leon, and the rest of the gang.
Yeah, which was like, all right, well, and it looks. I have to admit, the shots look a little bit low budget.
Okay, so what? So they've got Avian I don't know. He was in Victorious. That's all I know. Yeah.
With your history of pronouncing stuff, mate, just give it a go, and we'll just edit it in post.
And Kaya, he was out of Victorious. I know that. Mm-hmm. And Kaya Scodelario, and she was the sister in Skins.
Yeah.
In the first or second, one of those seasons. Yeah.
Cool.
The first comment I saw, on the post relating to this was, geez, they're making some really bad pornos these days.
Yeah,
I just couldn't help but laugh at it.
I mean, the shots do look very flat. Again, this is still behind the scenes. They're not this. While it's in motion, maybe it looked fine, but it looks kind of low budget. Yeah, it looks a little bit like an indie film / erotic porn thing with some really cheesy music in the background. Again,
and they haven't been in anything notable for a while.
No, it's definitely not big name. It's definitely not Mila Jovovich, which again was big name actor or not, I guess, who mainly does video game movies. But I mean, apparently it's coming out in November. We'll definitely watch it for lights, camera, and action. Yeah.
We're gonna watch the very original in the next episode, and then when it gets to November, we'll watch this and.
Yeah, we'll do a compare and contrast. But it's looking a little rough so far. But hey, I'm not going to judge a movie by its screenshots until we'll wait for a trailer to rip it apart. But yeah, it looks pretty rough.
Same way you shouldn't judge a game because of the graphics.
No, it's true. It's true. Deadly Premonition is one of the best games ever made, and that game looks like shit.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, what else we got there?
All right, so we'll cover that one. We'll cover yours that you sent to me first. New Zealanders aren't happy with Call of Duty Vanguard turning a national hero Aussie. I had not heard of this at all, but I'm guessing this is big in New Zealand.
I mean, big in New Zealand is like, well,
I mean, Bob up the road, he's cheap right away, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, he lost his elastic gloves. No, not elastic, Velcro gloves. I'm ruining sheep shagging jokes for my own country. I'm ashamed of myself. But yeah, so basically, one of our greatest war heroes is basically they've decided that he's Australian now. They've in this new Call of Duty game they have four different heroes that are based on real life heroes. But the quote that I just saw was, "At best, it's ignorance. At worst, it's a giant middle finger to all of us." Which is like, okay, so Charles Upham is one of the few men to ever get 2 Victoria Crosses. And so apparently a Vanguard has decided that he's just going to be Australian because the Americans couldn't find New Zealand on a map.
Just before we jump too quickly ahead just to explain the Victorian Cross to our international audience as well, it is a very prestigious Medal of Honor here.
It's the highest one, yeah? It's the highest honor that you can receive as a soldier. Yes. Yeah.
Because Australia and New Zealand basically share the ANZ.
Yeah.
Army
So
Corps,
the Anzacs.
Yeah.
Yep. The Anzacs. So again, we get lumped in a lot, which makes sense to a lot of it. But we are separate countries, with separate militaries and separate. Anyway, it's Again, it's a bit of a stupid story.
That's the same as basically someone thinking that Portugal is Spain.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Valak, our friend, does refer to Portugal as discount Spain, but I think that's mainly just because
so we do speak different languages.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
we don't speak the same.
No.
Every time I think of Valak, I think of just like that mum at meme home. It's like, can we get Spain? We got Spain at home.
Spain at home.
Portugal.
Yeah, that's usually how we visit. But
yeah,
again, I don't know. But so yeah, I don't know.
How many people are up in arms about this?
I mean, not that many. It's just kind of an excuse to get up in arms about something. But I just thought it was funny to add in here. They're saying that apparently it embodies the spirit of all Commonwealth forces that served in North Africa. But considering that the Commonwealth is basically a quarter of the entire planet. Yeah. Considering they're all most of them are all countries that were colonized by the UK. It does. Yeah. I mean, people don't usually talk about New Zealand, and like I'm usually okay with that because I don't really want too many people knowing where we are.
Yeah, I do. I want to know because I'm a fan of the Lord of the Rings.
I mean, yeah, that's the one thing. It's always like, oh yeah, Lord of the Rings is there, right? Yeah, and like, yep. And you guys, there's like, and you guys have those cute. You guys have those birds that you cut open and they turn into a delicious fruit. And I'm like, okay, you've grossly misunderstood how that works, but sure, both of those things are called Kiwis and they are from New Zealand. But yeah, I guess
I mean, if you can't find it on a map, it doesn't exist, right?
No, exactly. I mean, again, I think this was just on like Kotaku or something was talking about it. So like again, like I'm not gonna. Well, actually, I probably shouldn't be calling.
So one hipster was mad.
Yeah, exactly. One person was like, "Hey, that's funny." Like they saw a comment on Reddit about it, so they decided to turn it into a whole story. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up because it was New Zealand flavored.
I find it interesting just because I basically haven't really paid attention to any Vanguard news because fuck Blizzard at the moment.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's fair.
Until they fix things.
Which they won't.
Which they won't.
Yeah, me too.
Still at the same time. Not surprising.
No. All right. You have one other story that's small one, Cameron?
All right. I wouldn't say small. China bans children from playing video games for more than 3 hours a week amid crackdown on tech giants.
Yeah. Not super surprising considering. I mean, we've talked in the past on RGS around the how militant they have been around banning kids from playing video games or people from playing video games in general.
Wasn't it like 10, 15 hours a week at one point, and now it's like...
Yeah, now it's all the way down to like 3, yes. So they've sort of moved the goalposts every now and then when they need something new to blame for people not being productive or being good members of society or getting their good boy points. I'm all support for this because I get killed by enough Chinese hackers that at least hopefully this will cut down the number a little bit. I just have to figure out exactly when they're on and avoid that time. So
between 8 and 9 on Fridays, weekends, and on public holidays. I'm just thinking at the same time, you're jumping on you get hit with an update. That's it. You're done for the night.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
So I was like, I hope you're not a big fan of Master Chief Collection or Warzone because just.
I think that's getting like a 55 gig update next week.
You're like, oh, cool. Just gonna be sitting there. I guess that's my hour done. It's really just like being a parent, apparently, where it's like, oh, cool. I got an hour to myself to play a video game. Oh, cool. I've got a system update and then a game update straight afterwards. So I'm just gonna start drinking, I guess.
You know what? Last week too, it's now system update, then controller update.
Oh yes, controller update. Yes, of course, because my controller needs new functionality apparently. Yeah.
So we talked pretty heavily on RGS how we felt about this, but just as a recap, control over your citizens is bad. Sorry, this much control over your citizens is bad. Some controllers.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, again, of all the things to call China out for, this is one of them. Probably not the most important thing of the horrific stuff that they've done. But I don't really want to. There aren't. Well, I'm just gonna
there's a lot more too that we can call out closer to home. Problem is everybody's got their eyes distracted with COVID.
Yes, true. I don't actually. That's a good question for you there, Kat. How much do you play a week, roughly? Would you say in terms of hours?
I can't exactly say because there are days, there are weeks, But I was thinking, oh my God, 3 hours a week. I need 3 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna at least
3 hours a day at least.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just die.
13 hours a day at least.
Seriously, I have no idea how many hours. I just play when I have to, when I feel like I need to.
Wasn't the hours in the thing last year?
Yeah,
and
there was
the TA, because I'm pretty sure I was in the top 0.01% of gamers.
Yep.
And
I was up there too. Yeah,
it was just like, what a coincidence! Achievement hunters that spend their entire days on consoles.
I mean, the console's always on. That's always the thing, right? Like, it's always sitting there, so it's like, it's always running.
It's not my fault I got like an extra 24 hours in the game because I can't be bothered turning console off.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess that's probably true. But...
Imagine trying to get achievements with 3 hours a week.
Oh, yeah. Oh my! I'd have to
forget about it.
No, absolutely.
Maybe that's what TA needs to do.
Especially those that really force you to grind and to spend time and everything. Forget about it.
Yeah, it's like I'm boosting Fear 2 at the moment, and so yeah, my 3 hours would be a 3-hour boosting session of playing the most boring game ever, and then doing the same thing again next week, which is kind of not too far from the truth. But I do play some other stuff in between.
Yeah,
I think all the completionists would die from withdrawal.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. Yeah, I'd have to set up a lot of fake identities. Like
apparently, there's teenagers just taking their parents' ID and using that to.
Yeah, that's the way to get around it, is to commit identity fraud. All right, and so Cameron, what about this last one? This the biggie.
And the big one. So you've talked to Jez before, yeah, Catarina, about the Xbox Community Hub. So this article came out, I want to say like a fortnight, maybe 3 weeks ago. Now that talks about some of the Xbox fans' biggest concerns. So what we thought we would do is just go through it, talk about whether we agree, disagree, whether he's left anything off, and yeah, basically just break it apart and just put our thoughts. So starting off with everybody's favorite topic, the Xbox achievement system.
Yeah, actually, that's probably a good question for you, Kat. Do you play a lot for achievements, or do you even pay attention to achievements? It's okay if you say no. I won't just kick you off the call. It's fine. Like, don't have. You're in a safe space.
Okay, then I'm gonna say no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where's the mute button?
No, I'm joking. It depends, really. It depends, really. I always like that sound of the achievement popping, especially if it's a rare one.
Yes.
Peace. The world will be so much better.
Don't inject the dopamine into my veins.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I do try to complete all Halo games, but Halo MCC is not easy.
Yeah, I haven't even started.
What are you talking about?
I'm traumatized. I'm really scared about Halo Infinite. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we'll see
think-
what the list looks like. I mean, I've done all the other Halos, so I'm like, oh well, except for Halo Wars 2, which we're working on. But like, I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
know, I got through Reach and I got through.
Lasso.
Yeah, I'm hoping. No,
Yeah.
dude.
Also, I'm pretty sure there will be one like doing campaign legendary solo.
Yeah, the Lone Wolf or something. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Those
That's always fun.
Which I kind of think sucks because it takes out the spirit of what Halo is to me. Halo is a co-op.
Well, I mean, Halo's not going to have co-op at launch anyway, so it's a good time to go and earn that achievement.
I know, but the main problem is that I'm going to have is if I'm going for trying to get first completion, being the madman that I am, and I complete all of it, what's the incentive to go back for co-op if they're not going to add co-op achievements later on?
They will add co-op achievements. They would not be surprised if this is going to be a big thing for them.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a good excuse for the people to start talking about it again because they'll want to add Forge achievements as well and that kind of stuff, I'm sure.
It'll probably be like Halo, the Master Chief Collection. They add up new achievements
Yeah,
as
Fingers
new
crossed.
things are added to the game.
I would suspect as much.
Flood Firefight.
I mean, it's 10 years. Are you kidding me? They gotta
Yeah.
add achievements.
They fucking, yeah, exactly. There better be heaps of content.
Flood Firefight.
Yeah.
They announced this week for MCC, and I'm just hoping that there's more achievements.
There might be. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I don't care if that completion gets taken away from me. I want to play a bit more. It's been fun. Anyway, let's get back into it. So, the achievement system. There's not really been any updates since the rare achievements being added in 2015.
It's the 2015, 2016.
Yeah, somewhere around
this.
that.
It's been 5-6 years.
So just going back to the Xbox One launch, we had the updates then with the UI. We had the updates in regards to the challenges, which, oh my god, challenges.
What are those, right? And then the progress tracking as well.
Kat, can you remember what an Xbox challenge is?
Xbox Challenge.
Yeah, at the start of the Xbox One generation.
I think that pretty much answers the question. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the response. So an Xbox challenge was basically a zero gamer score achievement that was tied to an in-game item, I believe.
Yeah, it was basically a limited time challenge that was related to doing something in game, and so they would release them periodically to try and get people back to playing video games. It completely crashed and burned because no one was interested in it, and everyone was like, "I don't want to rush to do this thing," or "I don't have to kill 50."
I don't want to be restrained with my gaming.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like I have to play 50.
I only
50
have 3 hours to play per
Exactly,
week.
exactly, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm going to have to talk to my hacker friend to unlock all these challenges for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that sort of crashed and burned. So they kind of got burnt by that. And then we were like, there was like radio silence on achievements after that, right? It was like nothing.
Yeah, so I don't think there has been any major updates since the rare achievement got added in. And then even just taking apart the actual UI functionality of it, the whole, I guess, integrity of the gamerscore system's been flooded. Like Maca91 does a really good analysis over the years of how we've gone from 360 generation would have like a few Avatar, The Last Day I Burned to 5-minute kind of completions.
Baby games, as we call them.
Baby games to essentially having one release every week now.
At
the very
least.
least.
Yeah.
Having Xidalon, which I'm worried is probably catching on with other developers, having these massive updates to take it up to 5,000 G. Yeah.
And they're like 5-minute updates, adding no real new content, and just adding more achievements to get people to buy their games. At the end of the day, you should play games for why you want to play games. It's like if you enjoy those kinds of games, play them. If you don't, just don't play them, right? Yeah. But there is something to be said for having a leaderboard system and an incentive to go back and play games, and to have someone come in and just completely shit all over it. It's a bit of a tough one. I mean, like I've been knocked down. I'm 51st in the world in terms of gamer score, because
you're not in the top 50 anymore.
Not in the top 50 anymore. Like I used to be sitting around like 45. But
what was your highest? Like 30. 34, something like that.
My TA, I'm 33rd.
Oh, okay.
32nd, I think was the highest I got. But so like because TA is based on rarity, so people popping a bunch of easy games isn't going to affect that as much, although it still will because there are still base values. But in terms of gamer score, like I got knocked down onto the second page on the leaderboards because I just don't keep up with every trash release that comes out. That's not to say I don't play them. I do. I have access to quite a few bad games, and I put quite a few behind me this week just because I got bored and didn't know what to play. So I decided to just work on some trash.
I think the only time I really touch them now is just like I can't decide what I'm playing. I may as well play an hour of easy shit.
Yeah, but it's like you don't really get much out of it. And I'd much rather be playing stuff, sort of medium length stuff that's on Game Pass. It's a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I guess the question with it is then what is one thing that we could change to improve the system? Pretty much with me, I think I've basically swapped from going for gamer score straight away to series completions because that's what I find the most entertainment. I really think there needs to be a crackdown on the unobtainable systems, discontinues, and server-based achievements. I think stuff like Mass Effect Andromeda, where we have a X or a Y case of, a seemingly difficult achievement, a seemingly easier version of achievement while the servers are online, and then there's somewhat harder or somewhere around the same length.
A different
achievement. Look, if developers want to make it a little bit harder because people haven't jumped on straight away at launch, I'm not fussed, but end of the day, as long as there is an option to get that achievement, and as long as the developer, unless they go defunct, is supporting that game as long as they potentially can, then I say no problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say the big thing for me would be I'd love to have some sort of platinum equivalent to show off my completed games because I have finished quite a few of them. So it would be nice to have just like I don't have to pull up a number on TA. I can be like, no, I have this many. Completion diamonds or whatever the fuck they want to call it.
Would you want it split up then between the base game and the DLC, or would you just want it one list?
I mean, considering that they used to do completed games by the entire list on the original 360.
Yep.
They used to have like a list of how many completed games you had. So I probably have the whole list because I'm an all DLC settings kind of guy, so that matches up with me. But I'm not really that fussed either way, to be honest.
I think it'd be fair if they did something like this is the amount of completed games you had and the amount of completed DLC.
Sure. Yeah. I think they need to integrate, and they don't really have a lot of incentive to do this because TA is such a good system, has such a robust system in terms of stats. But I feel like they need to start poaching. Yeah, good, right? Yeah, but they really need to start poaching some of that technology to use in house. I mean, I really thought they were going to do more with it with the new generation, but. I guess we'll see, but having them not updating the what is to us the most important system on the whole thing since 2016 is kind of nuts.
I mean, we're a niche of a niche. I can appreciate the fact that they've done so well with Game Pass and Smart Delivery, and if that's what the attention's going towards,
sure.
Even I forgot to cover this last week, but I think what's her name, Eden Marie on Twitter. Basically, Microsoft devs get, the engineers get like a half a day a week to problem solve.
Oh.
And she used that time to fix the original avatars and get them upgraded.
Yeah.
And that was on Twitter. That was quite prevalent. And I'd never heard about that before. But
cool.
Just having that time to fix it, like small, minor issues like that, that's the kind of stuff I like to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for the achievement system that would work well, even if it's just 100% personal? You're just like, oh no, I just want a button that unlocks all my achievements for me, or what,
I don't know. I think sometimes that maybe having badges to show. Imagine, for example, that you completed Halo: The Master Chief Collection 100%. You should have a beautiful badge there, just to show that you are a crazy Halo fan.
Oh, 100%.
But it could also have different tiers, let's say, of badges. Imagine that you only completed 50. It's still a lot more than most people.
Yeah.
Maybe that could tell, for example, if you have your profile, if you had badges or something, when you would visit someone's profile, you would see, okay, this one is really a Halo fan, or this one is a Forza fan, It would be cool. I don't know. But I do remember on 360 how achievements also unlocked avatar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me how much of a big deal it was when they introduced the new avatars, and right now nothing is happening. There's
No.
nothing around it. There's no games that use avatars. Um,
Unfortunately, the
it's
Xbox
not
One.
something that you,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not something that it's not something right now that you proudly show around.
Mm.
You
I
have your
think,
avatars done and whatever.
unfortunately, the Xbox One generation did away with a lot of the good that was done with the Xbox 360 UI.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
feels like they kind of took a massive leap backwards and then slowly worked their way back up. Thankfully, we haven't had quite that bad of an issue with the moving over to the series consoles, but I think that's just because it's all running on basically the same the same UI, or close to it.
It'd be nice to get avatars and that more prevalent though. Like it felt like such a key part of the 360. And
I like
now
the little
it's-
avatar award stuff as well because it was like there were like separate achievements as well that gave you
Yeah.
certain avatar items.
You only had a certain cosmetic if you did something special. That was cool to show off.
There's not really a
Yeah.
trophy showcase equivalent of what like TA has on the console, is there?
Not really, but that would make sense. Like Kat was talking about, like having a system like how Halo Waypoint does it, with all their like medals and that sort of stuff based on how many Halo
Yeah.
games you've completed. Like that's a fantastic system. Like I used to follow that all the time when I was going through and doing all the old Halos.
I think the best option we have now is basically pinning an achievement through the feed.
Yeah,
which isn't
like,
really, yeah.
and I don't really know anyone who actually uses the feed, honestly.
I think I used to like back when it first came out.
Yeah, but I think it's just like it just gets spammed with people's achievements, and everyone's like, I'll just ignore that.
Yeah.
What was the next one you had there, Cameron?
Backwards compatibility.
Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting one because they did say that after the Series X or the Series consoles came out that they were going to be looking at doing more with it, but
I think we might have just misinterpreted what more meant.
sure
Because I mean we've seen updates, like we've seen the FPS boost and that, which is incredible to say the least. Like going back to some of those old games and just like you know when the Series X came out, we said like everything just feels normal though. Like everything feels like better but boring, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it was fine. It didn't feel like a massive leap or anything too interesting. Partly, but that was because of the exclusive situation and because console availability was not great. And then there was the whole thing with them being like, oh well, these games are coming out for the first year on both consoles, so we can't really do anything super crazy. So there were a lot of reasons for that, but I get it. And so yeah, we have seen a lot of FPS boosters to a lot of games, which I guess is kind of what their backwards compatibility team is working on. But I've still got like 40 or 50 of my 360 games that are non-backwards compatible that I'd love to have on there that I could be able to do. And I know that some of that is licensing. Like they have
I
to
feel
get
like
approval.
it's probably a lot of it's down to licensing now. I mean, if they haven't done it already, why wouldn't have they?
Yeah. Well, I guess like the thinking was that they stopped doing it because they were working on this compatibility between the Xbox One and the Series. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've still got my 360 plugged in. Like I still have to go back and finish up games on there because it's just stuff that just isn't backwards compatible.
I've got two behind the PC and next to the Series X, just to do my boosting. But I guess my one thing that I would want to see them change is adding Kinect functionality back.
Oh god. Oh no, we don't.
I try because I've got Tarragon Special One that actually has the USB adapter.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it, like no go.
Well,
Disappointing.
No, yeah.
That one feature that they said that was definitely not coming.
Yeah, they said 100% not going to be compatible. No one bought this thing. So well, actually, a lot of people bought it, but I don't know.
Maybe I just want to play Dance Central on my Series X.
The Kinect is so bad. I still wish I hadn't started the one.
You know what the
game.
funny thing is though? How many videos I go through on YouTube saying like, "Oh, it's the best web camera ever."
I mean,
like there's so many videos that talk the Kinect up outside of a Microsoft setting.
Yeah, it was a great webcam. I used it to chat with my then girlfriend in Tennessee at the time. Like that's literally the only reason I bought it was because I didn't have a webcam, and she was a weird recluse who only lived on her Xbox. So that's a whole story for a different podcast. But
as long as this isn't descending into the chat rooms and that.
No. That's no. It's like we that's you got to pay this. Yeah, exactly. We'll keep it PG. I mean, I did spend a lot of time playing Uno, but that was again you mostly stuff on there you didn't want to see. But yeah, I mean the Kinect is awful. I don't know why you would ever suggest that. You're a terrible human being. Kat, what about you?
Joke answer.
Well, how about me? Sorry, you want me to talk about backwards compatibility?
Yeah, is there anything you think is missing from there? Are there any games that you desperately want to be added to the service?
Well, I hope they fulfill the promise of bringing as much possible. But for me in particular, there's nothing that I need.
You got Halo, so you're good.
Yeah, all I had on 360 were Halos for a long time,
Right.
and I have Halo the Master Chief Collection, and they're all backwards compatible. So,
Fair. No,
but
fair.
but I get, I want to see everyone happy, so I hope they eventually start happy with more games.
The best thing about when they make them backwards compatible is that if you have another Xbox, you can double box all the multiplayer, so you don't have to find other people to play with, which is just great. Because Fear 2 is just it's draining my life. It's going to be the death.
This is going to be a topic in games we've played, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is. Absolutely, it is.
Right. Coming back with a serious answer.
Yes.
Basically, this is stemming off a conversation that we had with Adrian yesterday during Where Halo Wars 2. What was the website that he was using to get achievements in one of the Pokemon games?
Oh, retro achievements?
Yeah. So basically, how they work their achievement system is they do it with a save point of a game, yeah?
Yeah, so they're basically because the game will have various checkpoints that will load and on the background is that you can attach theoretically you can attach an achievement unlock to that. So it's harder to do for stuff that's like kill a certain amount of enemies, but it's easier to do for reach this part of the game or do this, trigger this event or something like that.
So it's not impossible in that regard to then implement OG Xbox games having achievements.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like, I'd love to go through and play some of those old OG stuff. I mean, they basically did that with PlayStation, re-released some of their old PS2 classic games. I think it was like Jedi Starfighter and a couple of Star Wars games and that kind of stuff that had trophies in them. You had to buy them again or whatever. They weren't like just the rips from the old discs. But theoretically, yeah, they could do the same with like Psychonauts is one of the few games that I played backwards compatible that doesn't have achievements. Yeah, it's just like I wanted to play the original Psychonauts ages ago because I loved the series. But if that had achievements, I would jump on it straight away. And there's so many others like Crimson Skies. Probably not Ninja Gaiden. I don't need more of that.
Was Jet Set Radio a 360 release?
Jet Set Radio Future was, yes.
Okay. So the original was.
Sorry. Jet Set Radio original was Dreamcast. Jet Grind Radio, I think, was the Xbox sequel that they came out with. It's been a while. But yeah, like all that stuff would be like again, achievements are a big part of the reason I play games. So adding them to old games would just be a fantastic thing to do.
Cool.
All right, what's next?
The next one, Xbox Game DVR streaming and sharing.
Whatever. I don't care about that. I mean, like again, I don't really need to send my sweet dabs.
I'm going to go through the articles then because I don't really know much about this. So the biggest volume of complaints was expired by Xbox Game DVR, which allows you to record clips, take screenshots inside game Xbox games for sharing. At least that's what it's supposed to do. The Game DVR has taken a nosedive in quality over the last few years. Surprisingly decent Upload Studio app was cancelled off rather than polished up and developed, and the actual Xbox Game DVR system itself hasn't been a particularly great replacement. Trimming clips is slow and crashy, and moving between different areas of the DVR isn't always consistent. Uploading screenshots from Xbox to a PC often creates strange washed out images in a JXR format if you're using HDR, which is a pain to edit and deal with. I'm not going to keep on reading from there, but basically it talks about the issue of the death of Mixer, streaming games or sharing clips directly from your Xbox to streaming platforms is not as easy as once was. I want to break that into two parts because Mixer is a really good topic to go back to because I think that we should start there actually. Mixer used to be so easy to like just jump on.
Yeah, that was the whole back when it was Beam before it got acquired by Microsoft and then shuttered. Mixer was fantastic in terms of getting content on there and like it had a really, really good setup. I mean, it helped that it was baked into the console. Yeah.
Talking from a practicality sense, like especially between achievement hunters, if I wanted to show somebody how to particularly unlock an achievement, it was a great way to just go live for 5 minutes and go, hey, Steven, do you want to just come watch this and I can show you how to do it? And then you can rinse and do the same method. That's what I loved about Mixer the most. And Twitch is just always been somewhat difficult to use on console for me. Or not as easy as Mixer, at the very least.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience here. I mean, this is literally the only streaming I ever do. So I don't have a huge amount of experience. And I set it all up for you. Yeah, exactly. 100%. You're running the stream. I just record it. But so it's like I don't really know anything about the history of it because I just I don't think anyone would be interested to see how I play video games because it's just kind of sad and depressing. Skip. But
hey, you actually watch the cutscenes.
I do watch the cutscenes. Yes, usually. Although I will talk about a little bit about that and what I've been playing.
Cool.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on it because I just never use it.
I think it's just one of those things that like I wouldn't say it's gotten better or gotten worse. I mean, like going back to the start of the Xbox One generation, there were so many games like Rise is a perfect example of this. Get a kill, record. Get a kill, record. Get a kill, record. And it would just be automatic, and then your game DVR would just fill up that quickly. It's gotten better with time. I'm pretty sure some of those, I wouldn't call them legacy titles, but like those titles that are closer to launch still have that kind of functionality.
I mean, you can switch it off. There's a menu item they could just turn it off. But absolutely, like that they were really trying to show off the system.
It was still annoying.
Oh yeah, it was super annoying. And like
especially when you were playing FIFA or something.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, goal, slow motion. And you're like, oh, goddamn. No, they don't need.
That's what recorded. And I was like, this is a simple goal. What's so special about it?
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to say that I'm playing as Man United, smashing on the Faroe Island half-star team. Okay, like that doesn't need to get out there. That's embarrassing.
So, question is then comparison between the Xbox One and the Xbox Series consoles. Do we think that one change of a button has changed anything?
No, I mean, if anything, I accidentally hit the button and I'm like, oh shit, I need to go back and I would actually. If I could get an Xbox One controller with the haptic or the actual feel of the series controllers, I would use it. Like the extra button is completely useless.
Kind of feels the same. I mean, there's been some great moments lately that I've just had to clip. Like even going back to Stephen brought up the Risk of Rain 2 jump that I did to steal his loot.
Yep.
Like stuff like that just needs to be timeless.
I mean, that's what it's for, right? Is to capture those moments and say, Xbox, record that. But
Battlefield Hardline having enemies stuck in a ninja position after a grenade goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Just great. Basically get rid of the button?
In my opinion, yeah. Well, again, like, for me personally, we're talking about here. I don't want to be like, oh, hey, this feature, I don't use this feature, so no one should use this feature. But I personally don't have any use for it. I thought the share button on the PS4 was a waste of time, but this is the generation we live in. Everyone feels like they need to be performing for everyone all the time. And yes, I do understand the hypocrisy and irony of that, considering I'm hosting a podcast right now. Like I trust me, you don't need to point it out to me. I get it. I am performing for a bunch of people that I can't see. But
join us in half an hour when he says, I'm number one in New Zealand. I'm number one in Oceania.
I look, mate, you're the one who said I was the GOAT. I don't have to say anything, mate.
Context, yeah. Context is important. Yeah. Cool.
I don't think the button is cool. I just don't use it very much lately because usually I'm streaming or something and I just clip on Twitch.
Right, yeah.
But exactly. other than that, yeah, I do prefer to have a button.
I feel like it would have been so good like 2 generations ago before like streaming and all that really just became mainstream, yeah?
Sure, when it makes more sense to share clips onto YouTube.
Yeah.
Back before streaming became, like you said, the preferred entertainment of choice.
I'm just trying to think if it was the best solution to a problem that doesn't really exist.
Well, PlayStation had it, so they needed to have it, basically, I think is where it landed.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was basically because PlayStation had one, Nintendo had one, so.
Yeah. No, you don't want to be the only console without a share button, mate.
Yeah.
The mammoth, localization and globalisation.
Oh, really? There are problems with that?
No.
No, okay.
I'm fine.
Move on then. I guess I think we'll just end the show.
Everything's perfect here.
And just to include a one of your tweets too, Kat. that was commented back. The way Xbox teams plan on globalization, I hope they don't forget the communities that fought for Xbox all this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of scared of how they are thinking about approaching different countries and regions with Xbox, because they can't exactly apply the same formula to everywhere else. The US is not the same as everywhere else. The UK is not the same. Australia is not the same. Portugal won't be the same. So I kind of hope in a way that they see the possibilities that they can have with already existing communities and community leaders that already know the audience. They know the fans probably a lot more. I'm sure a lot more than any Xbox employee. So in a way, I do hope that they approach these communities and these community leaders and sort of work with them. I hope they do that, because otherwise they would have to start over, you know?
Yeah. Right.
If they try to use these communities, they don't have to start from scratch, because they already know what kind of problems are there, how to approach them, and other things, you know. For example, there are probably countries where PC gaming is a lot more popular than console gaming, so probably it doesn't make any sense to advertise much Xbox Series Access there. Probably Game Pass would be a better thing to advertise, you know. So it really depends. There are countries where Gears of War is more popular, or Sea of Thieves, or Halo, and I think they should work with that. And instead of trying to insert new themes and try to first study the market, they could also try to listen to the people there that have been speaking for years. There are communities that have been there from day one, 10, 20 years, trying to get Xbox to the region. So
it's interesting to think about too. Like in terms of even just competitions, I think of the indies have more openness in sending like a competition winner a prize than having Microsoft with Far Cry. With, I'm just trying to think of any other examples, because it usually is that US, Canada, Mexico.
Yeah, and there are some legal reasons for that, right? Is that they're because they're a big corp, they don't want to get tied up in all that stuff, and a indie company is a bit more nimble in terms of what they can get away with and just kind of just deal with. But like that's not an excuse, right? Like it's not like they shouldn't be under investing in these areas. You know, that's not a good reason. I understand why, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't fix it.
Well, I think in fact, this is really simple. If you want to sell your product, you try to find ways to sell it. You're not going to pick up excuse for not selling it, right?
Exactly.
They're the ones that want our money.
At the end of the
day,
they
want money. They have to
come get it.
Yeah, absolutely. They got all the dollary dues.
And I think that became really clear with the answers to our global survey. Most people agree that that is not a proper excuse, you know, with politics and local laws. That is not an excuse, because they have the example of Sony, they have the example of Nintendo, and they also have the example of Microsoft itself, just not the gaming part. So if Microsoft can get there, what's the problem with gaming, you know? So yeah, most people agree with that part. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Was there anything else on that list, Cameron?
I'm just trying to go through. Is there anything else we want to say about globalization before we move on?
They need to get this shit together, basically, and listen listen to their fans. What a novel concept.
Just hire Cat for Portugal already.
Just do it.
Yeah. I wish.
Yeah.
I'm always pissing them off with that. Hey, so just wondering if you're gonna open any positions or something.
Hey. I
so
saw
I can try.
I saw a great tweet. I saw a great tweet today, and it was like, "You never get what you don't ask for."
You never get what you. Yeah, that's true. I get. Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten a lot of things I haven't asked for.
Yeah.
I mean, I got
the bad ones, right?
Yeah. Those like I got.
Depends on context.
Context
is
very important.
You never ask for the bad ones, so they're gonna come anyway.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, this is. Right. I never asked for this.
We're gonna knock out the other ones quickly. Support for Xbox from Japanese studios.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to see some more Japanese games on the console.
By Sega.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sega. Yeah, by Sega. But they're doing good
I
stuff.
would love that.
Yeah,
I would love
I
if
need to
if
play
they
a
got
Persona
Sega.
game. But you know they're doing good deals with Sega in terms of getting the Yakuza series on
Oh,
Game
it's
Pass.
so good.
And
I need to go back to it.
it's like between Yakuza series and Final Fantasy, they're doing relatively well in terms of Japanese representation, at least on the big
Oh
front.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see more of it because I just like I'm you know the Japanese development stuff has really dropped off over the years, and like it's been really dominated by Western stuff. I mean, we've seen a lot of good stuff coming out of Europe now, which I'm really happy about, because we've seen some really interesting work that just wouldn't be thought of by people in predominantly American. But yeah, it would be good to see a little bit more Japanese stuff because I just I'm a massive weeb.
Yeah, there are a lot of JRPG fans out there, even on Xbox, and a lot of fans playing on Xbox used to complain about not having JRPGs to play on Xbox. They had to get PlayStation or Nintendo. So I'm happy to see that they are investing on it. It's personally, it's not something that interests me, but I do hope they invest in that.
I mean, stuff like Final Fantasy VII Remake would be great to see on the console.
Yeah.
But like even lately, like it's getting better for the Japanese like side of things. Octopath Traveler, Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Like it's nowhere as near as bad as what it was during the Xbox One generation.
There's also New Phantasy Star Online, which is something that came a little bit out of the blue.
All games that we won't play because they're notoriously like 200-hour completions.
I did Dragon Quest 11. Thank you very much.
You can't just do one and call it a pass.
I mean, I've done most of the Final Fantasies as well. I'm still working on 10-2 at some stage. But you're right, they are notoriously long.
I'm going to ask you that in 2 years and you'll be like, still working on it.
It's like that in Kingdom Hearts.
You'll play Final Fantasy 13 on PC before you do on 10-2 on console.
We'll see. Final Fantasy 13 is slightly better than
oh,
10-2,
really? Interesting.
10-2. Not by much, though.
I don't think there's anything else to say. Like I think Japanese studios are getting better, and we all have our wish list to what we want to see.
Yep. I want the Persona series. Just move it over. Come on, mate. It's already on. It's already on the Switch, and it's already on the PlayStation. Get it on the Xbox.
Third-party SSD storage for Xbox.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. It's fine. Just great. More space, more options is good. I mean, I understand that there's a quality control element there that Sony aren't kind of are struggling with at the moment because they're like, okay, you can put certain SSDs into the PlayStation, but it has to be this. So you need to look at a spreadsheet, and we don't guarantee any of them will work, but we're pretty sure that these ones will. But if they fuck up your system, we're not responsible.
And the new consoles run hotter, so we're going to attack a YouTuber about it.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I'll just stick with the ones that Microsoft made. That's fine. Yeah. Like it doesn't really bother me. And besides, like I don't really need that much space on my console. I don't usually have a bunch. I only have like 30 games installed, and none of them are Warzone or any Call of Duties. But hundreds of gigs.
None of them are Halo the Master Chief Collection.
Exactly. Yeah. Which I think that's why you actually get that limited edition console is just so you can put that one game on that one and play everything else on your other console, so you still have space.
Yeah, one console just for Halo.
Yeah.
I find it interesting too. Like last generation with the Xbox One X that I was using, I always had the 8 terabyte Seagate installed. I have not had it plugged in once ever since the Series X.
I mean, I guess like Game Pass has made it so you download a game, play it, and get rid of it. Imagine completing your games and moving on.
I can't think of a world.
No, I can't either. No.
I'm going to try everything.
I still prefer Microsoft's approach to this than Sony. Sony's is like, okay, so you got this list of products that might work, and if they don't work or if anything goes wrong, that's not my fault. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like Microsoft's approach to make sure the gamer is indeed in the center of the experience and everything works just smoothly. I think that shows how much they care. And for the last 2 years or something from Sony, I think it's a bit sad for me to in my opinion, it is sad to look at what Sony has been doing and not making sure that gamers have a smooth experience, and it's like they just don't care. They just want to sell their consoles and their games, and the way you have them, the way the experience goes, it's up to you. It's not my problem. I don't like that approach. So I'm really happy to see what the Xbox teams have been doing with all of this, with smart delivery, with quick resume, with even if there's no third-party SSD expansion cards yet. I'm pretty sure it's because they're trying to make sure they talk with third-party companies to make sure that whatever they create is gonna function and bring no issues to gamers. I prefer that approach totally.
I also wish they were a little bit cheaper, but they're ridiculous.
Well, you can't do anything about that.
No,
you know,
especially now.
It has nothing to do with Microsoft or Sony. It's just well,
economics.
It's technology.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's pretty much the list, right?
Yeah, I'm just having a look through other concerns.
I didn't see anything in the other concerns that was all that. I was like, okay, a couple.
When are we going to see games like Hellblade 2, Perfect Dark Fable, and Avowed?
Yeah,
sure. More games need custom cloud-aware UI design like Hades and Microsoft Dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
And we need more Surface Duo, devices like Surface Duo, which can offer 2-in-1 experiences without having to carry around additional devices.
Yeah, which would be cool. But again, that's a nice to have rather than something that they should probably be super focused on.
100%.
All right. That's pretty much all we've got for the news, I think. So, do you want to go into what we've been playing?
Yep. Who wants to start?
Kat, do you want to go first?
Well, before this podcast, I was trying to play for 15 minutes or so of The Sims 3. I've been back to The Sims 3 on PC. Yeah, but I've been playing Aliens Fireteam Elite, like I've said before. It's been fun, but it has a few. I'm missing the word. Sorry. It has a lot of bugs, you know.
Yeah.
And it's.
I mean, the
the response of the game, it's a bit weird. There are parts where that game, especially in the last few missions, when you want to play and it starts to choke on itself or whatever. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Performance issues.
Right, frame rate issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, well, there's also other issues. We're three people trying to play together. Yep. And one night was perfectly fine. Last night, oh god, it was horrible. The first time one of us got stuck in the middle of the floor because there was a frame rate issue and the image kind of went crazy, and the next thing we realized he was there stuck and he couldn't get out. We tried to revive him if he died or anything. It just wouldn't get out. Then we had to try again. The second time the game crashed, or not the game, the session crashed, and the third time someone's game crashed. It's
oh, okay.
These last few missions were horrible. So we wasted like 2 hours. We were like, oh god, I don't want to play this game anymore today. Whatever, I need to fix this. Other than that, I'm not so sure what I've been playing. I've been playing Far Cry 5 with a friend that he never played the game.
Oh yeah. What do you think about it?
About Far Cry 5?
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I think Far Cry 4, for example, was kind of like indifferent, really. It was nothing special to me.
Sure.
But Far Cry 5, I really like the characters. They're crazy. So yeah, I'll be here for Far Cry 6 as well. I also played Far Cry New Dawn, the direct sequel, let's say, to Far Cry 5, which was also fun. And it's that kind of game that I don't mind if the mechanics are the same, because the mechanics they are from Far Cry. They're not from any other game, and that's what I like, basically. That and the crazy villain, and I'm settled.
Yeah, just
I'm settled.
Change out the location. Just have
change the location. Probably add a few things, more content, more features. But all I want is really the gameplay. I love Far Cry's gameplay. I'm also excited to know when the second flight for Halo Infinite will come.
It sounds like it's not too far away.
Did you get the invite for the MCC flight?
Yeah.
Today?
I don't think I did, but my partner did. And I was like, I don't want an invite for this. I want an invite for Infinite. I don't want MCC. I'm sorry. I love MCC, but new maps and new customization is not something that appeals to me. Just I know a lot of people are crazy about the new the new customization from for Halo 3 and all those crazy armors.
Mm-hmm.
I basically sent a picture to a friend and asked him, uh, so basically they inserted Destiny 2 armors or something because you look at that and the first thing that comes to my mind is Destiny, really.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's always fun to see people excited for once because people are always complaining about something with Halo. But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited about Halo. Halo Infinite comes out December 8th, which is the day after my birthday.
Oh, perfect.
3
Good
months.
timing.
And yeah, and it's basically a holiday here in Portugal, so
Great.
most people
Yeah.
will don't have to
Yeah.
take a day off or something, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They'll be at home anyway.
I
Should be
remember
fun.
when Halo 2 came out, and one of their execs claimed that it was going to be the biggest sick day in history in the US. And I was like, you're probably not far off, actually. I mean, unfortunately, they were probably made sick by having to play Halo 2. But, you know, they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, they didn't know the real meaning of the words. No, I think we're just getting started from
Yeah.
Halo Combat Evolved. They had no idea. You know, when I
Oh.
played Halo Combat Evolved, then that ends with Master Chief saying, "No, I think we're just getting started." I'm like, you have no idea, man.
Yeah, exactly.
20 years, almost 20 years of this.
Finish the fight.
God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Finish the fight. Finish what? That's still going.
Still going. Never ends.
Yeah.
You've been playing anything else?
Right now, no, not really.
All right. Cameron, what about you?
I was going to quickly say Far Cry 6, the DLC. I'm looking forward to that. With the
DLC?
villains. The villain DLC.
Oh, yes, the Villains DLC.
That actually has me hyped for Far Cry 6
yeah.
more than the base game. In terms of what I've been playing, I have been playing a lot of Halo Wars 2 because I am a, what's the word?
Masochist,
Yeah, that's
sadist.
it. I just hate myself, yeah?
Yeah.
No,
Halo Wars 2 is a great game.
look, I played Halo Wars 1 before. I haven't completed it yet, but like, I was surprised in the jump of quality.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It is amazing.
Completely different team working on it, but yeah.
Yeah. Cutscenes look
Between
amazing.
Halo Wars, the first and the second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, I think the first game for Xbox 360 was crazy. The
back when
quality
it
of those
came out, yeah.
cinematics. I remember that I played it on 360 and the CD suddenly the console would be like. I was like, oh my god! And you know, even with Halo 4, the console wouldn't do that. Just with Halo Wars, and Halo 4 is another great example. Halo 4 was really the peak of Xbox 360. I also forgot that I have been playing Halo the Master Chief Collection campaigns because I've been playing with a friend. She never played Halo.
Oh.
And it's been fun because there have been a lot of people trying Halo for the first time, and that's always fun. I'm always like, okay, more people to share references with.
It's good too. Like I've been carrying Steven through to 85% completion. He doesn't want to go
carrying him.
No. I think I can say carrying. I've got the completion now. It's fine. But no, he's honestly gotten so much better from when we started. Saying that, he wanted me to play Spartan Assault the other day, and oh my god, that game has not aged well. It's horrible.
It's fine.
It's serviceable, I think is the word.
Yeah, serviceable is probably about right.
Yeah, so basically going through it, Halo Wars 2, I'm having a lot of fun. We've done like half the campaign on Legendary together.
Yep.
Until we suffered the problem where the game crashed and basically took an hour of progress from us.
Yeah, I did the whole thing where it goes and then drops you back to the dashboard, and I was like, "Oh, great!" Because you can't save during co-op. It's like you got to start the whole mission again. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, but we got like half the campaign done in like a few hours, which was good. Other than that, we've basically just been going for the multiplayer and cleaning up a little bit of stuff there. I think I've got like 30 achievements out of 130 so far.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
One of you two are taking me through Halo Wars 2 Legendary, FYI. I think the thing was I helped Matt, so Matt helps you.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
Then we played a bit of Halo MCC this week because we got Kyo and Todd involved. So we're just like, all right, let's get annual and deja vu achievements out of the way. Because we've got 4 people at the moment. So, starting with annual, had a lot of fun. Got to the final checkpoint in about an hour. And I basically went the whole way, we need to get this done in under an hour. Because we need to beat Professor Pluto. He did it in an hour. Last time I did it with him, we're going to beat him. And that was the motivation, yeah? Well, it's the last checkpoint, game crash.
Oh,
which is,
are you kidding me?
I have a worse story.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
I have a worse story. So basically, a few years ago, me and a friend of mine were trying to do Lazo campaigns. It took a long time. We did Halo 1, we also did Halo 3, and we were working on Halo 3 ODST. So we played all the missions in Lazo. Then on the last mission, we decided to call 2 more friends so they would get the achievement without having to go through all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did finish, all the 4 of us. They all got the achievement except me.
Were you the host?
I wasn't the host, but I did the entire campaign on Lazo, you know.
Yeah.
So I still don't have that achievement.
Oh, Cameron, sounds like you need to help her out. You know, just
the cutscene skip isn't available anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh God.
Just use mods. Just do it on PC.
No, we're not using mods because that's.
Oh, sorry, trainers. Oh wow.
God, no, not those either, Cameron. God,
I wonder what TA's policy is on those.
Oh, I know what TA's policy is on those.
Anyway,
right.
Basically going back to it though, and it's funny you say that because Lasso Halo 1, I remember at least 6 or 7 different occasions when I got up to the elevator on the mall and the game would crash. And it was the absolute worst. It was always the elevator on the mall that caused issues. But yeah, eventually got that done. Anyway, so we went back to do annual. We're just like straight back into it. And then, who was with us? I think Dom was in the party at the same time, but he wasn't joining in. And he said something about a grenade jump from the left. Because you can essentially, you know where that little bit of snow heap is on the left, you can jump over with a grenade jump. So then basically it's like 15 minutes of Todd, Kyo, and Steven yelling at me because they think I'm wasting time doing grenade jump. Me getting to the point of every time doing the grenade jump flawlessly, getting over there and then getting killed by the flood.
Yep.
To the point where it's the final time, they're fighting on the flood on the right-hand side. I haven't triggered the checkpoints up the top. So I basically opened the door for him. Them finally getting up and the door's already open. And this is just like 15 minutes of back and forth for just like, you're just wasting time. You just, like, why are you doing grenade jumps? It's not going to pay off. I'm waiting for Steven to say something because he was especially triggered about it. And then he just turned around and he's just like, all right, fair enough. I've got to give you mad props for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, fuck you. You've been telling me up for like the last 20 minutes. But we got that done.
Yeah.
And that was quite fun. And then we swapped over to doing Deja Vu, which is the coastal highway. No hogs, no scorpions. So I very firmly at the start of the mission basically told everybody else, if I see you getting into a vehicle, I'm killing you. I don't care. We're restarting, whatever. Oh, yeah.
Well, Steven, that's always the mongoose with the rockets.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly my thinking, yeah? So I told each and every one of them off, do not get in a vehicle, to the point that we got up to the mongooses. I quickly jumped in, got Buck on the back and said, see you later.
Well, what did you...
Sorry. Swapped out fuel rod cannon for Buck, because basically Buck, infinite ammo.
Yeah.
Went ahead and then just had fun.
Yeah, sure.
But you know how... I really enjoy those missions, even though I've already got the achievements for them. But it's just so funny, just every 5 minutes, just like, Kyo, like, why the fuck did you die? Like, you know, like, why are you letting down the team like that? And then just cycling through every person on the team, just giving each other shit.
That's the Halo experience, right?
That's exactly what it feels like to me. But I really, really enjoyed that. It's really good.
I
Then
do
yeah.
hope Halo Infinite has achievements like that.
Oh,
It will.
That's always
yeah.
Halo,
It will.
that
Yeah.
and Easter eggs and everything.
Yeah.
See, I'm worried that they're doing the more open world ended thing because you can't pull off good experiences like Deja Vu and Annual.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have sequences. Like, even if it is like has more open world segments, I don't think the whole game's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Supposedly the game won't be exactly open world.
Yeah,
So
just a bit more.
I'm imagining something like Gears 5, perhaps.
Yeah, where it opens
Where
up.
you have areas that it opens and you can do some other missions. Perhaps. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how they do. Yeah, I already talked about Spartan Soul. I just don't care for it. Just no motivation to actually play it. I'll probably leave it to last. And then the only other game I played this week is the Big Con, which I got supplied with a review code for. Essentially, it looks like... How do I explain this game?
It looks like a 90s clip art game.
You know what Doug used to look like, yeah? Like
Doug.
the TV show Doug? It looks like the TV show Doug.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing. The so essentially this story is about your mother's trying to pay off loan shark. She's $100,000 in debt. And you're working at your teenage daughter working at the video store.
Mm-hmm.
And you really like it there, but you're the snarky teenage kind of personality. Mm-hmm. So then you decide, instead of your mother trying to send you away to this prestigious music camp so you can actually get into a nice school and do something with your life, you're going to become a thrifter.
Oh, great. Okay.
Just con people, steal from pockets and all that. Basically, the first thing that the game teaches you is to steal from people's pockets, which is essentially a mini game. You can turn that off almost immediately in the options menu, so you can just pick from pockets because it just becomes very repetitive really quickly.
Sure.
Basically, meet this other guy, just like, hey, I'm going to skip town. I'm going to, I'm basically just going to do a big haul, like a UN. So instead of taking the bus to the music camp, you take it with him. There's this wonderful rad ghost. Just absolutely like colorful rad ghost.
It's very 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, very 90s, very just like, hey kids, don't do drugs. Just, the old messages like that. Loved it. I've only probably played like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But it seems really good so far. It's probably, from what I've played of it so far, I'd probably say an 8 out of 10.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And then they, on their Twitter, they posted like a make your own clip art character of yourself. So I did one of them yesterday, just as a bit of fun. Really unique game. Only thing is, it's one of those games that doesn't have any voice acting.
Oh, okay.
So it's
just text.
Just reading a lot of text. But that's really the only downside I have for it. It's very unique.
Okay. I'll wait for it to come to Game Pass at some stage.
It is also in our Patreon draw as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So at least we have one recommendation for a game that we're giving away. So
it's also in last place at the moment. So
what? Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
that sucks.
But that's it. 1,301 for the week.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Because the first achievement you get is one game score in Big Con.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. 1,301. All right. I'll just quickly fly through what I've been playing. So I picked up The Occupation when it was on sale at the recommendation of, I think it was Robbie over on AHA.
Yeah.
So he said that this is a great game, looks really interesting, should definitely play it. The idea is that you are a journalist who is researching a data company that's kind of like, think like a 1980s version of Facebook, where they're like, oh no, we just track everything that you do, record all of it, and then associate a score with it, and then give all that information to the government. Oh, also we're backing a Brexit style piece of legislation that's going to push all of the immigrants out of the country. Don't worry about that though. So it's like, oh wow, okay. So it's like it's very politically charged. Like this game's all about politics. And so what happens is there's a terrorist bombing at one of these locations, and so you're a journalist trying to figure out why the terrorist bombing happened, and then try to figure out like the truth of what these guys are actually doing. Because everyone's focusing on the immigration thing, but no one's focusing on like the whole technology side of it because people don't really understand it. This is set during like the late 80s, like 87. So the idea of the game is it's a first-person game. You can tell it was definitely like a VR experience. It's quite a short game, but you go into locations and you have a literal real-world hour to explore the location and pick up leads and try and follow clues to try and gather information before you have to go to an interview with a character at that location. And then basically like, they're like, oh, hey, no, I don't know anything about that. And you can be like, objection, and slam the evidence down on the desk. You're like, well, what about this? What about they're like, oh, hey. It's like, no, I don't remember any. I remember that he threatened me in this voicemail that he sent me. And you're like, oh, do you have the voicemail? I'm like, no, I think he got deleted. And you're like, well, guess what? I've got a recording of it because someone saved it.
I can't remember any like terrorist attacks in Phoenix. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't remember any incriminating evidence on my computer. It's like, well, guess what? I broke into your office and stole it. So it's like all about like trying to figure out like codes and like there's like one guard who walks around the place and you set off alarms, and it's kind of like think like Deus Ex light thief style thing where it's just about sneaking around and trying to piece together mysteries. But it runs on real world time. So you have an hour in each of these locations to try and figure out. There's only like two main locations, and then there's like two like sub locations that happen afterwards. So it's not a super long game. The other thing is that there are no saves within the levels themselves. So if you can't like save mid-hour, you have to finish the whole hour before the game will save. So if you fuck something up and you get seen, then you basically either need to live with it or you need to restart. So the game's a little bit frustrating up front. It's not super clear on how it works, but once you get a feel for the maps, it's quite good. There's a game pressure walkthrough that's quite helpful. And most of the achievements are relatively simple, but there's quite a few collectibles. But I'd recommend it. It's quite interesting. It's one of those things where it's like you need to make like decisions around like what you do, and like there are not a lot of good choices in this game. There's a lot of bad or worse. But yeah, I'd recommend it. I also played through Dodgeball Academia, I think it's called, which is the Game Pass title, which is basically the most shameless ripoff of Pokemon's visual style I've ever seen. You basically play as Ash, but with a blue hat, and going into an academy where all the dodgeballs look like Pokeballs. Like they have a red-white scheme, and then you find different ones that have different effects, similar to like Great Balls and Master Balls and all that kind of stuff. The whole thing is that you play a kid who has run away from his from this academy that he hates to go and play dodgeball because he wants to be like a dodgeball champion. Sneaks into the academy, and then I played about like it's only like you play like for 8 days. There's like 8 different episodes, and each episode's maybe like an hour or two, if that. Yeah, so I played like the first 4 episodes, watching the story, and like there were a couple of good jokes there. Like there was a part where you have to go, like it's like, okay, we're going to enter a big tournament, and you need to go and collect 3 badges, and you need to find the members of staff who have them, but we're not going to tell you who they are. And so you find one, you go to the lunch lady, you talk to her, and she's like, oh yeah, here's the badge, and she's like, it costs like 99 cents, so you have to buy it. And you're like, shouldn't this be free? Like you're part of the staff, and this is part of a competition. And she's like, yeah, but I'm like saving up for my retirement fund. Also, it's a challenge, and the real challenge is capitalism. I'm like, oh, okay, right, yeah. And so I was like, okay, that's funny. Like I was laughing about it. And so then there's a part where you get roughed up by some bullies, and they steal the badge, and you have to go back and buy another one. But now suddenly they're $999.99, and you're like, well, I haven't got that kind of money. And she's like, it's basic supply and demand. This is the last one I've got, and everyone seems to want them. So just that's how it works. That's just economics for you. And the guy responds with, well, I guess the invisible hand of the market can't throw a dodgeball then. I was like, okay, the game is very funny, but it also is like very. It's kind of kiddie. Like it's not like super serious, and like it's quite jokey. But like I got kind of tired of it. Like I played about half of the game through, but eventually I just started skipping the cutscenes because I was like, I stopped really kind of caring. It has really good accessibility options, so you can crank up the damage you do to like 200, 400% or something ridiculous, and crank down the damage you take to 0%, so you never lose any of the dodgeball battles. But the idea is like it's so Pokemon-esque that when you walk past certain enemies, they do the like exclamation mark and run over towards you and challenge you to a fight, and they even have like the like music whenever a trainer sees you, right? Like it's so similar. It's like it's almost scary. But like when you get into it, it's like it's a like action RPG where you pick up dodgeballs and throw them at various characters, and different characters have different abilities for like holding down X to throw it, to like charge up an attack, and you have like a ultimate move, which is like it's like you have like a meter bar that charges up and you use it and strikes down and hits things, and it's fine. Like it's a really cute game. It's only like 6 to 8 hours, so it's not a massive investment. You can get it done even quicker if you just skip the cutscenes, and if you put the accessibility options on, you can basically never lose. So if you just kind of want to have a good time with it, it's fun. There's a walkthrough on TA. I would definitely recommend it. It was a nice sort of palate cleanser to just play when I wasn't really sure what to play. Also, finish up Sinking City. That's another game that doesn't have good endings. There are no good choices when it comes to Cthulhu. It's like, oh yeah, do I want to do this and just suffer in torment for all of eternity, or do I want to doom the world to extinction, or do I want to just be like, nah, whatever, I don't care.
Sounds like you're into the wrong kinks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That sounds just like life, really.
Yeah, basically,
no
yeah. There are no good choices, only less bad ones. Only choices you have to live with or die, because one of the options is dying. But so like I said last week, it's very similar. It has a lot of that detective stuff in there, where it's like you need to figure out things, open up maps, figure out how to get to places, avoid enemies. But also there's a lot of combat, especially towards the end. There's a whole crafting system with weapons and stuff, but it really kind of feels tacked on. Like they felt like they had to have some game in there. So yeah, it's a little bit ropey. Like Cameron said last week, it does very much remind me of Vampire. But I finished it. I'm thinking about doing the stack, but I managed to get it in as one of my backlog games done just before we finished the month up. So happy with that. Also just finished up Walking Dead season 4 on the PC. I haven't, it's like the last Telltale game I hadn't played or hadn't finished. So
I thought Allison banned you.
She did ban me from playing other Walking Dead games, but I was playing it on the PC, so she couldn't see it.
Secret addiction.
Exactly. I mean, it was the last one, and I was like, it's on PC, and I got it before they got delisted, so I figured I might as well do it.
Wait, I think the real question is here: have you done the 1K?
Okay.
Or 4 games in one?
I have a copy that's sitting here.
Oh God, no!
So I don't think it's a 40 to 50 hour completion. That's crazy. I don't know if I want to play through all the Walking Deads yet again for almost no gamer score. So,
but then you'll have a series completion.
Yeah. So Alison is threatening to take the couch back if I do that. So I don't think I'll do that, but we'll see. I mean, it is sitting there, so maybe at one stage I'll take some bites out of it, but I'm in no hurry.
We see Matt sitting on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Please don't tell people how I live. But season 4 is definitely, I'm sure everyone's played it by this point, but season 4 is definitely the best one they did. I still like the story of season 1 better because it had more of that intrigue and you weren't quite sure how it was going to go. But the 4th one has definitely the best engine, some of the best choices. It's a really good compact story and it all makes sense. It doesn't just feel like you're on a treadmill.
And 2 different teams working on it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Well, it also is I was playing through it and I was like, wow, this is essentially just a retread of the Michonne game. It's like they almost identically, where it's like, okay, there's a whole boat bit with a bunch of people with guns. Then they try and storm the compound or the house or the mansion or wherever you are. And then you fight them off and then they escape and then you get a prisoner and you have to torture the prisoner. And it was just I was like, wow, it's the first 2 episodes are almost exactly the same as the Michonne DLC. So I was like, okay, I kind of see what they were doing there. But the last couple are really, really good. There's this moment at the beginning of the 3rd part where you see, because you play as grown-up Clementine, I think it's 10 years after the initial game, so it's been quite a while. But there's just this great scene right before the big battle where it's her as a kid again in a dream sequence talking to Lee and just going over how she's grown over the years and stuff. And it's really heart-wrenching. It's wow, it's if you played through all of those games, you're like, holy shit, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but obviously, it's The Walking Dead. Most people don't get out of it alive. There are very few happy endings, if any. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's if people are interested, they definitely should play it. I know the 2nd and 3rd seasons are a little rough, but the 4th one
I didn't mind the 3rd one's a New Frontier, yeah.
Yeah, New Frontier, that was fine. It's
I thought it was alright.
I didn't like Javier as a character, but yeah, the 2nd one is just kind of But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's great. So I did that, and also easy achievements, which also helps. I've also been playing a little bit of The Last Stop. It's not super grabbing me. I kind of like the dialogue. It's more, again, in that Telltale style of thing where it's basically you just making decisions about talking about stuff. I'm still trying to kind of figure, I think I'm on the 4th episode for each character, so I'm about halfway through it. It's not bad. It's definitely got some quality to it, but it's just really not grabbing me in the way I was thinking it would. But we'll see. There's 6 chapters per character, so and they're all about 10 to 15 minutes long each. So I'm just kind of working my way through it. I'll probably try and finish it up this week and get back to you guys. And then the last thing I've been playing is Thronebreaker was it Witcher Tales? Now that it's leaving Game Pass, which is essentially I don't know if you guys ever played the Heroes of Might and Magic like Match 3 game.
No.
It was on the 360. I think it was called like Heroes. It was a Heroes
Oh
of Might and
yeah,
Magic.
I know the one you're referring to, but I don't think I played it.
Yeah, so the whole thing is that you move around like a spot, and you like find resources, and you hire parts of your army, and then you go and fight battles. And some of the battles are just regular battles where it's like 3-on-3, and you need to match up characters and they attack each other. And some of them are like puzzles where it's like you need to work out how to beat an enemy in a certain time period. So they've basically taken that idea and expanded it into a much bigger game with this, where it's The Witcher, but it said every battle is a Gwent battle. But it's not regular Gwent. It's like it's the modified, updated version of Gwent where you only have 2 lanes and there are new abilities and stuff like that. It's a really cool game. I enjoy it. You can play it like there are no difficulty achievements. And actually on the lowest difficulty, which you can play on, you can actually skip pretty much all the battles. Just be careful with that though, because if you skip puzzles, they don't count towards your 20 puzzles completed achievement. And if you skip some of the story battles, you don't get the relevant story related achievement for beating that boss or that character. So be real careful. It's with that in mind though, it's not a very long game. You can skip most of the fighting and just kind of deal with the story, because it's basically like a visual novel. It reminds me a lot of it's kind of like a mixture of Gwent and the Banner Saga, where you have to manage you have to manage resources of. So instead of having grid battles, it's Gwent battles, but you have to manage your gold and your wood and your recruits, and so you need to recruit new cards, and that costs all of those resources. But as you walk around each of these massive maps, also the movement speed is so fucking slow that they have 2 different upgrades to upgrade the speed, and it's still an absolute slog. But it's these beautiful maps, and it has this really great art style, very similar to Banner Saga, where you're kind of going through areas and challenging, monsters or Nilfgaardians to battles and that kind of stuff. But you're also walking up to people and making decisions around, okay, hey, one of the early ones is, okay, there's a mob attacking some non-humans, so like elves and dwarfs, because they said that they're thieves and they've been stealing. And so you deal with it, and you're like, did anyone see anyone steal anything? And you're like, no, well, there's no proof. And it's like, okay, well, clearly this has just turned into a bloodshed over nothing and just mob mentality. So you have to decide, okay, do I hang the people who murdered the non-humans, or do I whip them? And hanging them seems like the more, like kind of a messed up thing. But apparently if you do that, you get a better reward than whipping them, because the non-humans are like, well, clearly, you're clearly not taking our death seriously as you would with someone else. So we're going to leave this town, and, you're going to get like a debuff. You also need to like manage morale of your troops. If you have low morale, each of their ability levels on their cards drop by 1, and if they have high morale, it increases by 1. So it's a big balancing act. You've also got like characters that join you and leave you depending on your decisions. It's a much more complex system than I was expecting. It's actually like really, really good. It's also it's not very long. There's only like 5 areas, and I'm right at the end of the 4th area. The game did crash on me, and I lost a little bit of progress, like maybe like 15 minutes. So I haven't gone back to it, but. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it as like it's a leaving Game Pass. Definitely jump on it, because it's a quality game. And then once you've got your 20 battles and like your 100 loyalty thing, and like there's a couple of achievements for like wipe out 9 enemies at once and win a battle with over 300 power and that kind of stuff. Once you've got those out of the way, you can literally just skip the battles if you're not feeling them, or you get stuck on something, or you just like kind of like like I just want to kind of get through this. So it's really, really accessible. But anyway, and then I've also just played a bunch of trash, but I won't go on about that. So that puts me at 11,500 game score for this week. All right.
All right. We should jump into the leaderboard for the week.
Yes.
So we'll quickly swap over to that. So in 3rd place, like you just said, 11,500 for Neomaster.
Yep. So it's been a busy week for me.
We've got our buddy Red047, who's getting close to that 1 mil. He's going to get there any day now.
He's like 10,000 off. I'll probably be there tomorrow.
Yeah. 13,090. And then I don't know what Grey Shark's been up to this week, but 20,170.
Yeah, been very busy. So Simone in the chat is just checking where she is on the leaderboards. As long as it's above Kyle, I think she's going to be happy.
So that's that one. Patreon shoutouts. So I'm just gonna wait for the Patreon to tick past because I haven't wrote down this week. Because I'm lazy. I don't know. No, come on. Like, I've put together all this again. It's all fine. 39. Yeah, go Simone.
You could just check last week's list.
All right, so we've got Admiral, awesome. Cobra Todd, Charmander, Kung Fu Skills, Peter Nightingale. I need to make this ticker faster. Hawkeye Barry, Hackenpone, Cavalier, 07, and that's it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We really do appreciate Patreon. Like we talked about, we do have some exclusive content for the patrons. But again, it really makes it possible for us to do this show in terms of paying for server costs and doing prizes and also equipment for us so we can, record and not sound like complete shit. Adobe Pro don't pay for itself,
Put the lights on.
Yeah, exactly. Keep me at the end of the day, keeping the lights on. Yeah, so we can keep doing this and providing some top quality content.
All right, so we'll go back. So questions for the week. Wasn't any in the chat, was there?
No, I didn't see any questions outside of the ones we already asked.
All right, cool. Let's jump straight into it, though. Aftos84 asks, which video game character would you subscribe to their OnlyFans?
Which I told him he's going to horny jail for this question.
Yeah, I saw the bonk.
Yeah. I don't know how to answer this question because I don't have an OnlyFans. I mean, we have talked about doing the nude calendar, but but I really feel like that needs to be in person for that really to have the full effect.
I feel like that's our female audience demanding it and not so much us having a choice.
Yeah, and by female audience, you just mean Charlotte.
Yeah.
Just Charlotte, yeah.
Charlotte, please stop sexualizing me.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can sexualize me if you want, but like, you just gotta break out the box.
So Matt's girlfriend, Allison, is just chimed in. Excuse me, I am a human female.
She is a human female, but she hasn't asked for a nude calendar. Or has she?
You don't pay us nearly enough to get in the hot tub section on Twitch.
Yeah, it's like, you're not on the Patreon, so I don't want to hear it. She's sitting across from me. Yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right. Yeah. And now Nightbot is tying her up for caps. Sorry, yes, she is my fiance. Yes, she is very insistent about that. She's got the ring to prove it. And now, yeah. But
for
yes,
our audio listeners, chat has just descended into marital problems and premarital problems.
I've been told that she pays for this house, which she partly does. Anyway, before we get massively off topic, whose OnlyFans was he subscribed to?
Lara Croft.
Is it kind of fucked up if I'd say the video game character Kirby? Because I just kind of want to see what he put up there. I just want to kind of see what would happen. I mean, like, I don't...
Who's Kirby sucking this week?
Yeah. God. Oh, I wasn't going to spell it out like that, but Jesus Christ. All right, thanks, Aftos. Yeah, really appreciate that question.
Cat, anybody?
Kat, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want. This is.
Can you just repeat the question? What character?
What video game character would you subscribe to their OnlyFans?
Master Chief, those thighs could kill. Come on, you've seen those big bulky thighs.
The helmet stays on though. That's the like he never takes the helmet off. Everything else is negotiable.
I have no idea. Probably Master Chief, just for fun.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I will probably see nothing.
Okay, side tangent. How tall is Master Chief meant to be?
He's like 8 foot or something, right?
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
I mean, if you're into tall guys, I'm sure there's market for that.
I'm sure him and
this
Locke
is a rabbit hole. I'm not going any further.
Yeah, I was going to say him and Locke will set up a very, very successful male channel. I'm sure it'll go great.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving swiftly on before we get cancelled.
To people that ask much better questions.
The question asker extraordinaire. He said, ask some questions like this. What old game would you like to see a remaster or reboot of? Psychonauts. Fucking do it. Reboot Psychonauts. In fact, reboot most of the original Xbox library so it has achievements and better graphics. So I want Psychonauts. I want Crimson Skies. I want like
Banjo.
the band. Yeah, sure. Band. Well, band. I want like they need to redo like the KOTOR games. They need to redo like all of the old Star Wars games because there were so many good ones when LucasArts was around, and we just haven't had any in so long. Like the last good one was like Squadrons was okay, and Jedi Fallen Order was great, and they're
You
definitely
also
doing
have
this.
Monkey Island.
Oh yeah, Monkey Island would be great. I mean, they did
I
kind of.
I would love if someone brought back Monkey Island.
I mean, it is on the 360, so they kind of like did a little slightly re-raised version of it, but like a remake would be great. And I quite like the Tales of Monkey Island games as well. Those were fun.
Pod Racer.
Any others? Any other suggestions?
I'm trying to think. Most of the games that I really enjoyed in my youth have been redone. Like Age of Empires 2 was like probably the game that I spent so much time. Weirdly enough, probably Civilization 3.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it could definitely use a coat of paint. It's an old game at this point.
I think the earlier Civ titles, just because I appreciate the more bare bones turn-based strategy.
Yeah.
Before they just added like everything in.
Before they went hex grid and all that sort of stuff, right? They changed things up.
Like Civ 3 just felt basic enough where it was like you go to Settler, you set down a town, you make a few warriors and that, and then you've got a few bits and pieces chucked in. You're not thinking too hard. Whereas in all these new ones now, it's like even looking at Humankind the other day, I'm just like, I really like to look at this game, but I know it's just going to quickly descend into me playing for 12 hours a day. And I don't want to do that with turn-based strategies again.
Yeah, you'd be very...
Oh, Need for Speed Underground 2. Yes, I totally agree with that. And in the same vein of thought, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater...
3?
The Underground ones.
Oh, well, I mean, they did 1 and 2, so I'm sure they'll do the other ones as well, considering how well 1 and 2...
Just the Underground ones, just because of how stupid the story was.
Well, yeah, they'll probably do 3 and then, like, Underground, right? That's almost certainly how it'll go.
I'm trying to think of anything else.
I would... You brought me back to old PC games now, and I'm thinking, like, I really want like them to do, like, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I know they did, like, an HD version, which was okay, but, like, they really need to just remake that in a new engine. That was one of the best games I ever played my entire life.
Oh. Okay, this is such a cop-out answer, but Age of Mythology.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done it already, to be honest.
I think there was a lot of problems with DirectX, but I don't know. But that just got me so into like archaeology back then. Twisted Metal. I'm trying to think of any others.
What about you, Kat? Any old games that you think they should bring back?
Yeah, I'm already happy that 2 Point Studios came up with 2 Point Hospital because I love Team Hospital.
Team Hospital.
I also play Team Hospital and Sim Team Park, so I would love to have that kind of version. I know there are a lot of games focused on building theme parks, but it's not the same. It's not the same. I think that one of the things that best describes Sim Team Park and Team Park is the humor and the crazy rides. Rides that would definitely kill you in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
having the most popular theme park in the world, killing all of its guests. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and I think that's why 2 Point Hospital is so good, because they really picked up what made Team Hospital special, which is the humor, the crazy diseases and illnesses, and stuff like Please Don't Die in the Hospital, or those analyses.
Did you?
So yeah, I would like to see that.
Are you planning on picking up the new one, the 2 Point University with a night school, which is
I don't know. I'm gonna first check a bit about it, the gameplay and everything. I was disappointed that it wasn't a theme park.
Yeah, sure.
A 2 Point park. Yeah, but anyway, but we'll see.
I was gonna say, it's so interesting just to think about too. Over the last few years, how many of the old classic PC games have been re-released in some form or another?
Spiritual successors and things like that. People have been hankering for them, right? The people who grew up playing those games are now old enough to start making games, I think is the thing, right? And we've seen a lot of that in the indie space for Nintendo-style titles coming out on, ID at Xbox, been like, oh, hey, this is similar to Zelda, or this is similar to Pokemon, or... it's like, I can't wait to play Tunic, for example.
Even Quake recently.
Oh, yeah, true. Quake, yeah, they did bring that up.
Diablo 2 getting the remaster.
Yeah, although we won't talk about that.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. I mean, like, it does feel like a bit of a cop out to go like, oh yeah, just remake my childhood, please. I want it's nostalgia exists because I want to remember what it feels like to be young, and not so much play that game. But I also do kind of just want to play a lot of those old games again and have a good reason to, because
cruising around.
I can go back. Yeah, I haven't got a good reason to go back and play them if they don't have achievements with updated stuff and they aren't easy to get a hold of, and I don't have to set up some sort of ROM hack on my laptop and melt the GPU trying to emulate some fucking SNES game from 20 fucking 30 years ago now, 40 years ago almost.
Cease and desist from Nintendo.
No, yeah, exactly. I do not want to cease and desist for playing Lufia 2 or whatever. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty much going to bring us to the end of the show then. If you got feedback, feel free to give us some feedback, either on the Discord or rate us on your platform of choice. We do really appreciate it. Word of mouth is still super important for the show. Talk about us in the boosting sessions. Cameron's great about that. He just goes right in there and says, hey, is this a good time to bring up that I'm on a podcast?
Hall of Famer, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you, disembodied voice. I'll let you know. But if you do want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Discord, discord.io/GPNGG. We've got an Instagram, GPN Hall of Gamers, Twitter every time I've been so used to saying @Real Gamers, at GPN Hall of Gamers. Email gpnhallofgamers@gmail.com, and our YouTube channel, the GPN. We're also on the GPN YouTube channel, which is just GPN. We're on there. We've also got a bunch of our other podcast buddies on there. So Barbecue Pit's on there. Definitely go check those out. The Xbox Legacy Cast, they just came out with a new episode about Psychonauts. It's really, really good. So definitely go and check that out. And we'll have a couple other bits and pieces going up there soon. But you might even be watching this episode on this, so you'll get it recommended in the outro screen. So check out what's going on.
Noble Core 2, especially if you're into the Halo Infinite stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Noble Core are super on top of all the Halo news. Cameron, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Shadowless Edge, TA, same thing, and Xbox, same thing. I'm usually just playing anything in the party. Feel free to drop in and say hi. I don't bite. Unless you want me to.
All right, Kirby, calm down.
Gotta keep it alive in the show somehow.
Kat, what about you?
Mostly Twitter, perhaps. Yeah, CatPT93. That's my handle.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're very, very good about the getting content up there daily and retweeting all those great people. I mean, I don't speak Portuguese, so it does get a little bit difficult sometimes. But all the English stuff, I really appreciate.
Yeah, but you have the automatic translator.
Yes, it does. It does translate. Yeah. And if you want to find me, you can find me on Neomaster on pretty much everything: Discord, Xbox, True Achievements, Carrier Pigeon. I mean, just ask people around New Zealand. I'm super fucking famous. Well, you can't actually because we're all in lockdown. So don't approach anybody. But I think that's pretty much going to end the show. I just want to give a special thanks to Kat for joining us. Really appreciate having your expertise on the show. You've been great. And
thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. And a special thanks to Charmander as always, Charlotte, for moderating the chat and just being a general great person. All right, I think that's going to wrap everything up. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.